Straus Project rolls on. We are here in Addison, Illinois with Todd, LaTorre, and Michael Wilton of Queensryche. Gracious enough to take some time before their show tonight.
Very gracious.
Well, I appreciate you guys spending time with me every time you're in town. I mean, seriously, thank you so much.
Yeah, it's our pleasure.
New album, In Digital Noise Alliance, comes out October 7th. We got a couple singles that are out now. In Extremis and Forest, kind of a contrast, both of those songs. Could you guys talk a little bit about the differences and tempos and styles that you guys, with both of those songs, have?
Sure. In Extremis is the album opener. As you probably know, the track listing was released and everything. So, you know, it's a straightforward rocker, up-tempo, you know, kind of aggressive during the verses, a melodic chorus. There's some kind of proggy, interesting drum thing happening in the middle section. And so that's more of like the straight rocker. And then Forest, which was the ballad that we put out, is obviously, you know, very melancholic, very slow, very spacious, simple but very meaningful. So yeah, those are the two that have come out so far.
And Whip, you're featured pretty prominently on the open of Forest. I noticed that was a really kind of emotional, intense kind of a guitar part. Can you talk a little bit about the approach on that?
Interestingly, that was just a simple little guitar riff that I had that was hanging there at the end of the writing session that Zeus was really, you know, wanting me to develop it more with the band. And it's actually probably one of the most simple songs I've ever written. You know, most of my stuff is somewhat challenging and interesting and a bit progressive and not the usual. But this one, it was just naturally that just kind of kept building. You know, the layers kept kept adding, you know, new ideas and spawning, you know, vocal melodies and then Zeus, you know, had a Mellotron program, and you know, because we wanted to not use orchestration, but use something that had that kind of feel, but a little more vintagey. Yeah,
vintagey. We both said the same word.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was, you know, and then we just worked on it, and Todd came up with the bits, the melodies, and the words, and then it was, you know, it just kept evolving, and you know, we had to get the right arrangement, how long the song was going to be, how many parts did we want it, you know, and I think in the end, you know, we made the wise decision of not making it, you know, some kind of epic long song, but something that just is, you know, a simple ballad. And you know, it's the subject matter is you know, it's personal. And it's personal to everybody, you know. It's one of those songs that I think can relate to anybody that has been in that kind of a situation, and it's something you know, that they pass on to their friends to hey, you got to check this out. You got to check this out. You know, I heard, you know, you lost someone in your family, and you got to check this out. So it's right now it's just really growing on the video channels like YouTube. It's really taken off, and you know, and it's I think for us it's really gratifying that something as simple as this has grown into what it is. I mean, we don't even know how far this is going to go on this song. I mean, it's so early in the release, so.
And you talked about working with Zeus and how he helps you guys develop your ideas and the song. Did he take the simplicity and say just leave it, or did you guys strip things away from it when you were developing this song? And then I wanted to ask you a follow-up on that in terms of the tempos of the songs that you guys have on the album.
Yeah, I think Zeus just, you know, it's more about the feeling of the original riff and keeping that that format. And like I said before, we didn't want to, you know, prog this out or anything. It was, you know, like three sections, I think, and that's basically the whole song.
It's like the less is more in this song, and when he had this acoustic guitar riff, I remember getting on the mic and just going, this like a falsetto-y, breathy thing, and that's exactly how I personally wanted to sing this song. Like, that's where it felt right. Instead of more full voice and like this power thing, it just needed this softness and this air. And I like to kind of relate it to the Us and Them song from Pink Floyd. It's kind of in that same wheelhouse where it's very spacious. And actually Casey, so we added a little piano, just some very simple piano things in the pre-chorus. And Casey actually came up with the melody for the I can feel all around, do 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 do. He was very integral in coming up with that melody for the pre-chorus, which I thought was brilliant. And then, it just, like Michael said, just not overdoing it.
Just technique, I think it lent, everybody's used to Todd just belting it out, screaming, and being very powerful. And this one was more.
I didn't want to do that at all.
Let's just hear your normal voice. Your low, because he's a baritone, and he's got this low end in his voice. And when it's clean like this, this was the right song for him to approach this. We had a special microphone that Zeus used to pick up the
all the little
and all the nuances, and it's a step away from the
usual,
but
what's old is new. It's interesting.
And also, I wanted to add that as much as we like the heavy stuff, there's so much happening in that genre. To just get away from that for a minute and do something like this that's very spacious, this open canvas. It's one of my favorite songs on the album because it's not that, and because the song, I think, was done just so well. It's just very spacious. To me, it's very mature music. It's something, and again, the content is something that so many people, it resonates with so many people, and the comments are like, I buried my 15-year-old daughter a year ago, and this is bringing back, or, my mom's around me, I can feel my mom around me, or, just all these personal stories that people feel compelled to share, and people crying, getting really choked up when they watch the video, and we're really proud of the song.
Yeah, it's very touching. I saw the video, and the VHS and the older technology, it automatically brings up those memories, right? It brings you back to the past. Talking a little bit about Zeus, when you guys go and you guys all meet up together and you say, this is what we have for the album, and he says, okay, I want X amount of fast songs, X amount of medium songs, X amount of slow songs, or do you guys take inventory of what you have and say, okay, from what we have, this is what we should do?
Well, we were writing the songs together from the beginning, so we didn't approach him with a handful of music he didn't know. Awesome. We all got together for writing sessions from the beginning. And then out of what you're talking about, you say, okay, maybe there's too many mid-tempos, or there's a lot of fast stuff. We're feeling like this. And Michael, we kind of start with Michael with the guitar riffs, and
Yeah, it was more of just on the spot, coming up with ideas, riffs that it's like I'd be riffing on something and Todd go, hey, I like that, and then Zeus would get Casey on the electronic drum kit, and then
we'd track the idea.
We'd start building it, and he'd put a drum beat to it, and then when we exhausted that one, then it was recorded, and then we just left it for another day and just started on another
Bingo.
riff, and just kept kept doing that process. We'd be out on Todd's patio, and ideas starts coming in and into your mind, and you start remembering interesting riffs and that never were developed, or
we do a lot of grilling at my house, outside, and we'd be playing like old Black Sabbath or Pink Floyd or whatever, and something might inspire us, and we're like, oh, you know what? Remember that one thing you recorded yesterday? That, dude, listen how this shifted here, and maybe we could build off of this concept, and so we'd go right into the studio, and Michael would record ideas, and it was all from scratch. So everything on this record was new and fresh. It wasn't from old hard drives and rehashing stuff.
So the new is the new stuff. What's old is some of the equipment you guys are using, correct? We're doing a combination.
He can tell you about that.
New, right?
He can tell you about the amps used, yeah.
I'm the old guy, I guess, because I have all the old Marshalls and, and Zeus, brought it on. He said, yeah, let's bring these on and use them instead of, like the Kempers and the modeling amps. So we.
Oh, and by the way, real quick, instead of saying, here's Michael's rhythm sound for the record, we didn't do that.
No.
We did, each song was like, hey, try the amp you played on the Warning. And he would play the riff, and we're like, try the Mindcrime head for that one. And then we were like, no, so he had the Rage for Order, Warning, Mindcrime, Empire, and Promised Land. He had all those amps stacked. And whatever riff he was playing, he would change the amps until that amp fit the best with that riff and that sound and feel of that song. So every song has different rhythm sounds based on what that song called for. And we were just like, screw it, let's just go that route. But I think Zeus even said you brought out an old flanger pedal or something that was used on The Lady Wore Black. And so yeah.
Sad to say, I sold the amp for the EP, so I don't have that one.
I think
that's the only one. But yeah, you just acquire all these things, and sometimes they go in drawers or plastic tubs or something, and then they're forgotten. And then it was like digging that stuff out, and Zeus goes, yeah, let's plug that in, let's see if that works, and so a lot of experimentation happened on this album.
So Digital Noise Alliance comes out October 7th, and then less than a week later, you guys go back out on the road with Judas Priest. What's that like?
Wow. This is, bucket list stuff for us, so it's great that we have the opportunity to, open for the mighty Judas Priest, and we've I think, developed a good relationship with them, and it's super fun. It's, just being in the presence of them is just, amazing. We hope this tour will be great. And we hope that Judas Priest keeps touring on and on and on, and hope they'll consider us in the future as well.
Well, I'm excited to see you guys. So give me something that you haven't given anybody else. I know you did like an hour 50 with the metal voice, but come on, give me something you haven't told anybody else. Something that you're waiting to tell someone when they ask you the right question. What's in your notebook that you can share with me?
Oh gosh, about the album?
Yeah.
Well, we did a cover of Rebel Yell from Billy Idol.
How did you guys choose that?
We had another. Oh, come on. We had another song picked from the Cult.
Oh.
And we really liked it, so Zeus was like, I think you should do a more well-known song that everybody, and I was like, I think I had mentioned Billy Idol, I love Billy Idol, and Zeus was like, dude, what about Rebel Yell or something? And this is when we were recording drums at this huge mansion that a friend of mine owns, and it used to belong to Hulk Hogan.
I was gonna say, you're friends with Hulk Hogan, huh?
I'm not,
Okay.
but anyway, so we were out back one day talking about, bonus track and this and that, and we're like, you know what, instead of doing all these extra original bonus tracks that nobody's probably going to hear because they go on a 7-inch vinyl in Japan, or, there's like weird situations that happen, like you probably never heard 46 Degrees North.
Or I have a copy of it at home because I'm like everybody
Okay.
else and look for it on the internet.
Right, or I Dream an Infrared Acoustic.
Right,
Okay.
I've heard it, right? Of course.
But a lot of people haven't. So when it came to the cover, we're like, this is a rocker, it's uplifting, it's fun, everybody knows it. It would be a lot of fun to do that if we're going to do a cover, because Queensryche had done an album of covers, and it was, I think, Pink Floyd stuff and Dio or Black Sabbath or whatever, and so all these different things, and we thought, this would be a lot of fun. We just want to do what's going to be fun. And so we did that. And so we're looking forward to people hearing that. But the album, the album is obviously, you can never judge an album by one song. So when we put out the first single, there are people like, oh, I hope the record's like this or even heavier. And then some people that are naysayers are like, oh, I hope it's something like that. There's such a variety on this record, again, and we seem to always do that. There's not just this one sound that you're going to find on this record. There's some super proggy stuff. Casey, his drumming, was phenomenal on this record, and he did some stuff that I would never have thought of that was really interesting. In fact, one of the songs, when it was Casey went into his studio and recorded in his head what he deemed as a full song on drums, and there's like quirky, crazy stuff. There's verses, there's an intro, there's all this stuff, and he gives it to Michael. And basically, like, here you go, write to this. And Michael comes back with this piece of music that went with Casey's drums, because he would never have come up with what he did had he not been inspired by the drum part. Mm-hmm. So it was really cool to see what manifested out of that. But yeah, it's a really fun record to listen to. It covers everything that is Queensryche, and so hopefully people like it, and we put a lot of work into it, and it comes out, like you said, October 7th on Century Media. We're shooting many videos for this album, more than we've ever shot.
What was the cult tune?
She Sells Sanctuary.
Oh, I love that song. I'd like to hear you sing that sometime, actually. That would be fantastic.
So yeah, we shot a ton of videos for this, and Thomas, who's the video director and everything from Kill Devil Films, that's his company, has done a killer job. Really, he's very creative, and so putting together our concepts with his ideas, he's done a great job. You guys, this is just the very beginning of what you guys have really kind of seen. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, there's a lot of things that you find as you listen each time. And I think Queensryche's music is like that, kind of like Rush or Pink Floyd, or each time you listen, you're like, oh, I'd never heard that before, and you discover new things, which is just cool.
I'm looking forward to it. We're just about 2 months away from your new album, Digital Noise Alliance. Todd LaTorre and Michael Wilton stopping by. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.